Guys, welcome to the second hour of Wide Awake News Radio. Unfortunately, we're having a difficult time getting a hold of Sherry Edwards, so I'll continue to send her messages and see if we can get her on here. I had a couple audio clips that I wanted to play, and I'll hold them in reserve in case we can get a hold of her. One of them is Mitt Romney at the Al Smith dinner, this big joke fest that all these candidates go to before every election. I wanted her to break down some of that, as well as John McCain talking about Benghazi and Obama getting emotional today or emotional about this race and what it means to him and that kind of thing. But until we can get a hold of Sherry, or if we can't, we'll save it for another time. So it might be just myself and my good buddy Gary, who's running the show, as well as he might be co-hosting with me here. Might be doing the program. Gary, are you with me right now, or are you in mute mode?
No, I'm totally muted in the background. I'm camera shy and audio shy, and
You're not either. You're none of those things.
I
know
this,
you. You're into this tech thing.
Yeah.
First of all,
I did vote today. I mean, are you at all interested in who I voted for?
Yes, I am, Gary. Go ahead. Gary Hendershot, by the way, who's not only the tech whiz behind putting this up on Justin TV. He's the host of Monday's Alternative Energy Hour, 5 o'clock West, 8 o'clock East every Monday. And he does his own program, the Smart Scarecrow Show, every Thursday on Justin TV. Just go to Justin TV and type in Smart Scarecrow Show or YouTube Smart Scarecrow, and you can find Gary's work.
Yeah,
go ahead. Who'd you vote for?
I'm all over the place. Well, I could not bring myself to vote for the lesser of the two evils, so I went ahead and voted for that guy, Gary Johnson, for...
Good man.
For president.
Libertarian?
Yeah, I don't know if it's really going to do anything for me, because the one upbeat thing to it is I understand that if the
spit it out, son.
Well, if the Libertarian Party actually gets a little traction and gets 5% of the popular vote, supposedly that means we've got a viable third party, and they're automatically on the ballot in all 50 states for every election. Now, I've heard this as a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not, but I couldn't vote for Romney, and I couldn't vote for Obama, and this guy Johnson seemed to be the only one who even smelled like a conservative. But, for my Senate that was up for vote, I did my usual, and I voted for Mickey Mouse.
Well, a lot of people opted out today, and you know what? I can't blame anybody for opting out of this system, because it isn't an election, as Karen says. It's a selection, and it's honestly, God, boy, I hate to say it's irrelevant, but it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. I mean, what are you going to get? I mean, sure, go out there, and I think it is relevant if you're voting local. But when we're talking, obviously, we're talking about the presidential race, we're not going to get any difference. Gary, I'm going to ask you, you're kind of a Renaissance guy down there in the South, all soft-spoken and whatnot. And I know on here all the time you're talking about alternative energy, but you were also, you're from the hippie generation. You were out there marching in the streets, and I know you're very well-rounded on other topics as well. Have you heard of generational dynamics? My friend Warren Pollack had brought folks onto the program to talk about that. And I found an interesting article today from the Burning Platform. And I posted on the website, wideawakenews.com. And the title of it, it's kind of misleading because, the title of it is, Will a Prophet Assume Command? And it was a horrible title for this article, because the article is absolutely brilliantly written. And I hope everybody has a chance to read it. But it really spoke to me, because I believe this is what is coming. This is where we're at, and there's no stopping it. It's just a simple matter of this process playing out. And I don't know if how well versed you are in generational dynamics and the theory that history repeats itself basically because every 80 years to 100 years, the population dies, and we forget. We can read in history what happened, but we forget we didn't live through the trials and tribulations of other generations. So we're doomed to not necessarily do the exact same thing, but certainly do something that is reminiscent of past generations. And first of all, have you heard of this theory of generational dynamics before?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty well in disrepute at this point, but that is sociology from the 1980s. I'm familiar with theory. It like so many other theories, it has its day in the sun, and then somebody else comes along. But there is some logic behind it. I mean, you got the truth to it is history is circular. I mean, that just seems to be the nature of things. History is circular, and we do keep repeating over and over and over again the same mistakes, and that just seems to be the human condition. Now, somebody wants to call it, generational dynamics. That puts a fancy handle on what the Buddhists call, karma and so forth. They believe in the chakras, and we just keep going around and around in circles. And frankly, their argument is probably every bit as strong as the argument for generational dynamics.
Yeah, and maybe I shouldn't have just grabbed on to the generational dynamics thing, but the theory is pretty straightforward. I mean, that we go through these cycles that are like seasons, right? And the fourth turning of the season is always into winter. You go from spring to summer to fall to winter. And I'm just going to read an excerpt of this, and we can break this down a little bit. We have a couple minutes for our first break here. In this article, we've experienced the American high, quote, spring, from 1946 to 1964, witnessing America's ascension as a global superpower. We've survived turbulent revolution awakening, the summer, and this is you, Gary, this is the summer, 1964 until 1984, as the Vietnam-era protests morphed into yuppie era of greed. The long bone culture wars unraveling fall lasted from Reagan's morning in America in 1984 until 2008 Wall Street Federal Reserve spawn crash. The pessimism built to a crescendo as worry about rising violence, wealth inequity, and the splitting of national conscience into extremes of the left and the right let the country into a winter of discontent. The global financial crisis winter has arrived in full fury and is likely to last until the late 20s. It will be an era of upheaval, financial turbulence, economic collapse, war, and complete redefinition of society as existing corrupt status quo swept away in fury of powerful hurricane winds of change. So basically, in a nutshell and all that, we've seen our nation grow. We've went from the spring from 46 after World War II to 64, where we really became this global superpower. And then that morphed into, the summer where it was laid back, easy, and we had, the hippie generation evolved into the yuppie generation. And then, Reagan was basically the fall when the sunset of what was the building out of America. And we started to see literally, we can go back to 84 and this build out of our military, this massive deficit spending, tie it in, with the Federal Reserve bringing us into the fall. And then the winter season would have been kicked off with the collapse of 2008, comparing it to other collapses in history, including the Depression of the 30s. But in this theory, in this generational theory, spring, summer, fall, and winter, it's inevitable that we're going to go into this season of winter. And it certainly seems to be the point we're at now. And I know we're running up against the break here, but there's many statistics that point to exactly that. That points to the futility of pretending that somehow Romney or Obama can steer us through this course, or Romney can turn the course. because the collapse that has been set in motion a long time ago is absolutely inevitable. We're going to be back with Gary Hendershot and more Wide Awake News Radio in just a few minutes.
All right, you want me to try Sherry again? Why don't you see if you can message Sherry and see if you can get a...
Yeah, let's see if I got any message from her here. I'm texting her now. Hello, kind lady. I got no Sherry. I got no Karen.
I tell you are unloved.
I'm unloved. I must have made the ladies mad.
Man, I told you to use that new deodorant.
The one that resists microphone transmission. That's really weird. I mean, I should probably get. You know what I can do is probably one segment I can get. See if I can get Christina on here to talk about her work. Christina.
If you initiate the call, you're going to have bandwidth issues. I should.
Yeah,
initiate the call.
I won't. If I just ask not this segment, me and you'll just run this. We'll just have a conversation. But if she wants to come on, I'll send you her contact info. She's answering me right now. Sorry, I'm not much of a chatter when I'm typing.
Not so good at multitasking, eh?
Well, I'm reading 2 screens and typing. That's as much. I'm maxed out.
Oh, Crimea River. I got 4 monitors.
I know you do. I was just thinking that as I said it.
I got 4 monitors. I got 3 keyboards.
She will come on at the bottom segment. So what's that? That's going to be 27. We'll call her at 33 after.
All right, she needs to add the Smart Scarecrow Show to her contacts.
What are we on JTV?
Well, of course.
Hi, JTV.
Huh?
I said hi, JTV.
I could mute it, but,
I just want to make sure I don't say something bad about someone's mama, as you always say.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're talking to the entire universe. You don't want to say something bad about somebody's mama when everybody's listening in. If you're going to say something bad about somebody's mama, tell me first, and I'll mute it.
Now yours is unmarked away. Can she accept it when?
I'm sorry?
It looks like Smart Scarecrow is marked as away.
Mine is always on away. I've got it on at least.
She can still accept it though.
I've got one of these 3-minute deals where if I don't do something in 3 minutes, it
just goes to away.
Yeah.
We'll get into the dynamics thing here, and the theory is sound is the reality of the data that supports it. I believe. I mean, there's been bigger period of times in 100 years. In a 100-year stint, that there's been tyranny or that there's been prosperity. So I mean, I'm not saying it's you can set your watch by this, but the facts remain that we're still a long way. Guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Charlie McGrath, Gary Hendershot. No luck getting a hold of Sherry. We'll get her on again real soon. But at the bottom of the hour, I am going to bring Christina Consalo on the program. She worked on a project and released it today, and I want everybody to check it out. It is a bedtime story from a nuclear reactor, and I myself had one small little part in it where we read, and a bunch of people she had read about what a nuclear reactor might say, especially in this political season. And it is very interesting. So we're going to bring her on to talk about that and maybe give a little bit of an update on what's happening on the nuke front, especially since Sandy just rolled through the East Coast. But Gary, I want to kind of sum up what I was getting at here. So you can look at things a couple different ways. You can look, you can be like like the callers we had in the first hour who are saying that that people are being led down this path that they can affect change by voting in the current system, or that there's a deliberate effort to try to dumb people down, not to pay attention to what's going on. And we see the results of this. People are lining up like cattle to vote for red or blue. Or you can step back and understand that we are so far down the road. We are so far from being a nation that is going to be growing and expanding and being the as we were in the spring and summer of the last generation, that no red team or blue team representative is going to fix this problem, because the problem's unfixable. And when you look at some of this data, sorry about that, when you look at some of this data that's out to support this, trying to pretend that Romney or Obama is going to fix this, if we the unraveling that began in 2007 versus the 4-year crisis that we're in right now, the fourth year of this crisis, 2012, which this theory again suggests is going to be a dark period, a winter period into the mid 2020s. But if you look, Gary, in 2007, the unemployment rate was 4.6%. 146 million people, or 63%.
Well, the official unemployment rate.
Right. Yeah, good point. Yeah, because this is all these stats are government generated stats. But even going with these, 2007 unemployment rate 4.6%, 146 million people, 63% of the working age population were employed, and 78 million Americans were in the labor force. Today, 3 years of recovery, the unemployment rate is 8%, 143 million people, or 58.8% of the working age population are employed, and 88 million Americans are not in the labor force. So that one stat alone kind of shows that, it absolutely shows that 2008 is this catalyst event that launched us into the winter season. Real median home income in 2007, $55,039. It has fallen 8.2% to $50,502 today. Now, Gary, I'm going to stop there and get you in here.
It's really very simple, Charlie. As far as generational dynamics goes, I mean, if we want to use that name for it, this is a phenomenon that's always been out there. I mean, what you get is some kind of terrible turmoil. Okay, so something big and bad happens that impacts across the bounds. Everybody is impacted. Okay, most recently that was World War II. World War II seems to have impacted almost everybody who was alive at that time. Everybody had a neighbor or a cousin or a nephew or some relation somewhere, a brother, a sister, a son, whatever. Everybody lost something in World War II. So everybody came out of World War II hardened, okay? They had seen the worst of the worst, all right? So what happens to their kids? Their kids get pampered because, Mom and Dad had it really, really rough. Boy, we had to go through World War II. Things were bad. And we want our kids to have it better than what we had. Well, what parent doesn't want their kid to have it better than they had? Well, all right, maybe the World War II generation went a little too far. And the post-World War II generation might have been pampered a little bit. And, they were fat and lazy. They were raised on Cheerios and Wheaties and cartoons on TV, and life was good, life was easy. So, when when their time came, they looked and they, hell no, I won't go. Where the hell is Vietnam? You ain't sending me nowhere, Jack, you know. And yeah, we grew our hair long and we raised some hell.
I like you say we.
Well, you know, I was there, but see, I was on both sides of that argument. Okay, the war was illegal. Okay, it was not a declared war.
Wow, imagine that.
Duh.
Just like every war we're fighting now.
Oh, I hear that darn bumper music. Why don't you go ahead and take us out for the break?
All right, we're going to be back. Christina Gonzalo is coming on here, the RadChick, and the backside of this break, we're going to look at a nuclear bedtime story. Very interesting piece she put together. All right, guys, we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Hang tight. I am going to get this queued up so I can play part of it. That's okay with you, my friend?
Sure, go right ahead. Let me see. I'm going to try to add Christina. All righty. Let's see. Do I have Christina? Is she in there?
I don't know. Christina?
Hi.
Hi.
Christina, could you do me a favor? Could you adjust your volume up just a little bit? Your volume is just a little bit weak.
Sure, how's that?
A little bit more.
Kind of tin canny.
Oh, I'm plugged in. That's why. There we go. Is that better?
That is better. It's a little weak. Can you turn it up a bit? Like you got a pair?
This is as high as it goes.
Wait a minute. Is that better? Go ahead and count to 5, Christina.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, that's better.
That's a little bit better. Now, what I can do, Charlie, is I can go ahead and have you turn yours down.
Okay.
And then I can boost it on my end.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, you're good. Let me boost the signal a little bit on my end. Okay, let me hear from Christina again.
Okay. Does it sound any better?
That's a little bit better, Charlie. Let me try you. Give me a quick 5 count.
Does this sound any better?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Christina, I'm gonna do a video tonight after the program to promote your video, if that's cool with you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty dang good.
Well, thanks for your help with it.
You're very
Much appreciated.
Well, I'm glad to help. I'm a helper.
You sounded so professional.
Did I?
Yes.
I thank you very much.
Yeah, I wish I would have got it out a little bit earlier because people are really responding to it well. But, just no time.
Yeah, I know. And you have a program tonight at the top of the hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the longest you could hang out with us would be till 56 minutes after. So we'll get you out of here in time.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Does that work for you?
Yep.
Okay. And have you met Gary before?
No.
Okay, this is Gary Hendershot. He because we broadcast live now on JTV, so my video is going out. And next time we get you on, I know you're coming on Thursday, but next or the 14th rather, we can get you up here live video if you want. If not, we'll just put an image of you up there. And I hope we get to put the chick in the spacesuit because I love that. Gary, can you put that up there?
Working on it.
Awesome. But Gary's handling all the tech stuff now, so all the signals go to him. He calls people and he combines it all together and puts it out on Rinse and Oracle, as well as JTV all at the same time, and then uploads it all to YouTube later. That's perfect. So you can see, Smart Scarecrow there. That's him, and that's the image.
Make no sound.
All right, guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Joining us now is the RadChick, Christina Gonzalo. Do I say that last name right? I just want to stick with RadChick. Gonzalo?
Consolo.
But it's
okay. Nobody says it right.
That's what I figured. Christina's the RadChick. She worked on a project. She asked me for my help on it, and I did a very, very, very small little bit of it. But I thought it was, I thought it was awesome because here we are on the eve of, when we did this was last night, on the eve of election, and not only on the eve of election, but the eve of Fukushima, that's still an ongoing disaster. The eve of Sandy, which give us a report real quick, Christina, on any developments out of Sandy and all the nuclear reactors that were in that path.
Well, originally there were 5 reactors that had problems, but since then we've had 2 more in the area, plus Comanche Peak in Texas. And today we found out that Palisades in Michigan went down for, I'm not even sure what happened there yet. I haven't read the NRC report, but they did indicate there was a plume pathway that went across Michigan as this reactor vented steam 2 days ago. So it's already past us. People weren't warned not to go outside or anything like that. The real big problem happened, though, at Oyster Creek. Because they were inundated with the storm surge, and they had problems then with the backup diesel generators because they became flooded. In fact, they were like 7 feet above the flood zone, and it got within 6.5 feet of reaching the generators. So they had fire hoses on standby in case
Fukushima
they needed to
all
cool
over
things
again.
down. That's exactly it.
I mean, what nuclear reactor is in? And Gary, if you want to jump in here, because Gary does alternative energy and is quite versed in these matters as well. But what kind of reactor is that one? Is that the same brand? Is it a GE?
The Oyster Creek facility, I believe so. The majority of reactors that have had problems are the Mark I boiling water reactor, like Fukushima. Okay. And that reactor was actually undergoing service at the time. So all of the rods were in the spent fuel pool. And so they're much more radioactive than when they're in the reactor, when they're out of the reactor. Right. And the temperature started going up. Arnie Gunderson reported on that yesterday, that the temperature in the fuel pool had started to rise. So, they had all these firefighters standing by in case they needed to hose things down.
And that's their solution, isn't it? And that's their solution. They'll build these things close to water so they can dip a hose in there and cool it down when what hits the fan.
Right. And, they had a storm like this exactly a year before this. I mean, these are like 100-year storms that are now happening every year. And now we have this, huge system moving into the Pacific Northwest, another storm front, a winter storm that's going to be moving up the East Coast. And, in fact, that's what I have to talk about on the show that I'm going on at 10 tonight, so I need to read up on that.
Well,
find out exactly what the projections are. These people, they don't have heat, they can't get water, they don't have cell phones, and now the storm is coming. How are they going to stay warm? They can't even get a bottle of water from FEMA.
Well, listen, yeah, exactly. And we've got, I'm in the Northwest, and we have a massive, today, it's really bizarre. Today, November 6th, it was 63 degrees in Montana, Bozeman, Montana, far warmer than our normal time of year. But by the end of the week, we're going to be at zero. Not even, by the end of tomorrow or early Thursday, we're going to be at the single digits or zero. There's massive storm fronts moving in. You just mentioned from the Pacific, and there is another storm coming in on the East Coast. And we've seen once again, this is a perfect illustration of why it is absolutely incumbent upon yourself to be ready for disaster, because what's it going to take for people to understand that the government isn't? Look at New York. All kinds of warning, all kinds of alerts and fear was generated over this storm. And Christina, they're still muddling around, waiting for gas, waiting for food. We could certainly see a big cold nor'easter come down, and a lot of people end up dead over this, just weather-wise. Forget about the reactors. Did I lose you, Christina? Did we lose me? Gary, are you there?
I'm not sure what happened.
I'm not either. Christina, did you hit mute by chance?
Yeah, I saw Bloomberg getting chewed out by some people. I can hear you.
Yeah, we heard you for a second. I heard Bloomberg getting chewed out, and you were cutting in and out, so I don't know if we're losing connection with you there or not. Gary, we can go ahead and you want to try to call her back. We have about, boy, this is a really awkward time because we have about 4 minutes to go before the break, and I wanted to play this video in its entirety, and it's 7 minutes long. So what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and start a nuclear bedtime story, and we'll try to reconnect with Christina and continue on. And you know
I just reconnected. She should be live now.
Christina, you with us?
Yep, I'm back. I don't know what
Okay.
happened there.
I don't know. It got digital, and then you went away. But so anyway, we have these bizarre 100-year storms or 500-year storms. Some people were saying Sandy was happening every year, and we have an out-of-date nuclear facilities across the country. Just I mean, it's Russian roulette, isn't it? Yeah, it sure is, Charlie. Crazy thing, that Russian roulette, the nuclear plants.
Yeah, and some of these facilities that were in the path of Sandy, there were actually 26. There were actually 26 plants that were in the pathway, and some of them were the oldest ones in the United States. I mean, it's 50-year-old technology, and it's completely outdated, not only from that aspect, but from the aspect of seismic activity, earthquakes. I mean, we've seen 2 earthquakes in New Jersey just since the storm.
Yeah, crazy, right? 4.0 in New Jersey, right in the same area. What happens? Well, we got your audio working, right? What happens if we get a big freeze in there? Does that affect anything as far as the plants that are already weakened by this storm? No, Charlie, nothing. Gary, what happens if we get a freezing storm over on these plants?
All hell breaks loose. Tell you. Well, they're talking about a nor'easter coming this way right now. I mean, it's not. It's not a matter of conjecture. I mean, there's one building, and it's going to come through. Probably follow. Essentially the same path as that hurricane. So we're gonna take a hit.
Yeah, no doubt about it. What? Tell me a little bit, because you're very familiar with these reactors.
Well, nothing's going to happen to a nuclear plant if it gets cold. Okay, it's not like they freeze and the plumbing bursts or anything of that nature. That's not the concern. Now, the concern would be if power is cut to the reactor. They need power going to the reactor to keep water circulating and all that good stuff. So, if their power at the nuclear facility gets screwed with, we could be in deep doo-doo.
Well, and if we're heaping one storm on top of another storm, and we already had people, I forget, I don't know what the count is right at this moment, but yesterday it was 1.8 million that were still without power in that region. Throwing earthquakes on top of that, throwing the fact that the government, who was allegedly prepared for this storm, can't do anything to get people fuel or food. I mean, a perfect storm seems to be brewing, not something that already happened. It seems to be on its way. Christina, do we have you back? By the way,
I think we have Christina back.
Yes.
Yay!
I'm here. I'm not sure what's happening there. Sorry about that.
Man. Every time you start talking the truth, we get either SWAT teams knocking on your door or we lose you. What's up with that? All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, yeah, no doubt. When we come back, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this audio from a nuclear bedtime story. Guys, hang tight. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
All right, Charlie, your video's frozen on me again.
Well, we're just having all kinds of issues tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, what happened is I ran out of donuts, and those guys in the black Suburban, I think they were really pissed off.
You want to hang up on me?
I think what I'm going to do, Christina, be patient with me. I'm going to go ahead and hang up on both of you. Wait about 15 seconds, and then call you both back and see if we can get some of our issues squared away. Here we go.
Okay. Hello, hello.
All right. Well, let's see. I see things spinning and whirring and all that good stuff. So, yeah, I got a Charlie connection. Do I have a Christina connection?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, wow. Your audio's better now.
Yeah, that's really good now.
We must have, that last call, we must have had some packets being routed through China.
I'm wondering how long this is going to take.
Yeah, I tell you, unless we've got more technical problems, I'm going to just shut up and stay in the background and let you guys carry it, because, frankly, Christina has a much nicer looking icon than I have.
I love her icon. It's
Uh,
pretty. I don't know. Are we still on JTV? So I'm going to watch my mouth.
Of course we're on JTV.
I'm going to watch my mouth.
Yeah, we can't talk trash about anybody now.
It's a rubber suit with a plastic bubble helmet. What is not to love about a rubber suit and a plastic bubble helmet?
Charlie, are you
everybody
sure
should
you're
have
not?
one.
Are you sure you're not German, Charlie?
I lived there for several years.
That's where you got it.
Latex suits and
Well,
rubber
either
helmets.
German or Japanese. I mean, they've got this thing about latex.
And a ray gun. She's got a ray gun.
Hey, a babe with a ray gun. I mean, what can I say?
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, that's because I can't have a real gun.
Uh-oh. Oh, is there a story there?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you said the word can't.
Yeah.
Well, don't share it because we're live on JTV.
Okay.
But when we come back, this is 7 minutes. I'm going to try to play as much of it as possible, but I'll certainly do a promo video after the program tonight. Trying to get some.
I would almost suggest you boost it up to me and let me play it from here. It would go out probably in better quality, but it probably wouldn't transfer in time.
The only thing I could do is give you the link. I could send you the link in Skype. I have it on my other laptop, so let me.
Send it to my other account. Send it to the just Smart Scarecrow account. I'll pick it up on the other machine.
Well, and everything is man. This is like we're having one of these nights. Is what we're doing here.
Understand the voice within and feel a change already beginning. Oh, won't you tell me again?
All right, guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. I'm going to get this audio or this video sent over to Gary so he can run it real quick here in just a minute. But while I do that, Christina, tell us where we can hear the RadChick.
I have a show on UCY TV twice a week. It's called Nuked Radio, and it's from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today we interviewed Jeff Wefferson, who is a pretty well-known blogger, and he had he filled us in on the story behind the Fukushima hoax from 2 weeks ago, and told us what happened there.
Whoa!
And,
Can you? What is that? I haven't even heard that. What is it?
Well, there was a report that went out that the spent fuel pools were on fire, and they had a fire there 2 days before that. And some information got passed along that was inaccurate. It was spread all over the internet like crazy on YouTube. A few other bloggers got a hold of it and made it viral. And so it turned out, in essence, it was a hoax. But now, since then, the cesium levels have gone up quite severely in Japan. So we don't know what's going on over there, and that was basically the gist of our conversation was, unless you actually went to Japan and you looked in those pools for yourself, we really don't know what's going on. We know that they've tampered with video, they've photoshopped pictures of the reactors. When they show us something that's supposed to be inside of a pool in reactor 4, we really don't know if that's reactor 4's pool, or if it's 5 or 6, or if it's from an entirely different plant. I mean, we're just, at the mercy trying to piece together the information and validate it and try to work up, a plan for dealing with this. And it's very difficult, and it's very stressful at times. And people need to hang in there, because we're doing the best that we can with the information that we have to go on.
Yeah, and it just seems, I said before the break, it just seems like we're heading for this perfect storm, this catastrophe storm of man-made disaster as well as natural disaster, all culminating in these extinction level events, these LE events that we see about, or we see portrayed in Hollywood movies. But I mean, how about as far as levels? Some of the video you had in this presentation that we're going to play here in just a minute, as soon as Gary tells me we can. I mean, is any of this footage? Because one of it's like a squid that they're pouring stuff on and it freaks out. I mean, is this all Fukushima related?
No, that squid is a delicacy in Japan that they eat. It's a live dancing. I think it's called dancing squid.
Ugh. Well, I thought it looked like a monster coming out of that bowl. But Gary, are we ready to play this thing? I'm going to go with maybe not.
It's just a matter of statistical probability. We're on a sharp upward curve, and we will have a Fukushima over here. It's just a matter of time. And the more storms we get, the more seismic activity we have, and they don't fix anything until it's broken. They don't put the money into the plants because they're so expensive to run anyway. Well, we really do need the alternative energy people to step up to this. And hopefully a lot of people were voting for that today. I know it was on the ballot in Michigan to make 25% of the oil companies and so forth use renewables.
Yeah, well, as well as I do, though, the stranglehold of special interest in the nuclear lobby, even the energy lobby, oil lobby, they're not going to let their profits go by the wayside. They'll fight this thing tooth and nail. And unfortunately, both of these candidates they're lovers of the nuclear energy lobby, aren't they?
Oh yeah, definitely. And lots of their friends are in high places too. I mean, it was just a fairy tale going to vote today. I mean, I voted straight Green Party because it was really the only choice that I saw in order to send any kind of message whatsoever. It really means nothing. It's all a fairy tale. It really is, and we're living in this big science experiment, and nobody tells you exactly how bad things are and how it's affecting your health.
Do you want that video played out now?
Yeah, I think we have enough time to listen to most of it anyway. We have about 6-7 minutes left, so go ahead, give us the title of this thing, Christina. All right, it's a nuclear bedtime story.
It's a nuclear bedtime story.
All right, here we go.
All right, rolling.
My outside is pretty plain, but inside I have 10,000 parts. As a nuke plant, you are lucky because you almost always get waterfront property. This is so if my insides ever get too hot or the power goes out, it's easy to scoop up water and dump it on me. If my emergency diesel generators go out, which happens a lot, they can sometimes use fire hoses to cool me off too. I'm glad the NRC spokesman brought that up the other day when Hurricane Sandy happened. A lot of people were probably worried about that.
This is exactly the same thing that happened to some of my friends in Japan. Fire hoses seem to work okay for them. But I'm not sure because no one really talks about it. I think there might have been some explosions or something. Man, do they have a nice view from there, though. And I heard the Pacific sushi is really good.
Some of us are right next to big cities too, so we never get lonely. When people see you a lot, it makes you seem like you belong. Sometimes they paint pretty pictures on us to make us look more friendly. I hope they paint some birds and butterflies on me. I don't see too many of those around anymore.
Some days I look around me and I see all that wind, water, and sun, and I wonder why people haven't used those things to generate power too. Maybe they're just lazy. After all, they use it like crazy in third world countries like Morocco.
I wish I didn't vent so much steam too, because it really obscures my view. Some days it's really bad, especially if we have a hot shutdown. But people have to work inside of me so I can work properly and things don't melt down. Radiation in the steam is pretty small, so unless you go outside a lot, you're probably okay. I'm not sure why so many kids around here keep getting brain cancer, though. Maybe they sit too close to the TV.
Even if we don't sit by a big city, we still aren't lonely. There are lots of security guards around in case the nun tries to throw blood on us or something. Lots of people don't seem to like us, probably because they think we're dangerous. But that's silly. There have only been a few big accidents that have happened, like Chernobyl and Fukushima, which killed lots of people, poisoned the environment forever, and made the ones that didn't sick or caused deformities in their kids. But when you think about how great nuclear power is, it all evens out.
I hear some people that work inside me getting scared, though, because we break down so much. All you have to do is look at the NRC event notification page to see. But it's not my fault that I'm old. My owners don't want to spend the money to fix me up right. They just fix stuff when it breaks. Hopefully it won't be a big break, because then people will talk probably about us even more.
Most of these people that live around nuclear reactors are poor anyway. The people that own me probably don't think they really count. And of course, the 99 other nuclear accidents that have happened, most people don't even know about, even though they're listed on Wikipedia. They don't like us to talk about it either. And you never ever talk about the spent fuel and nuclear waste, how precarious the fuel pools are, especially in the 23 Mark I BWR reactors in the United States. The same style as Fukushima. That freaks people out a lot.
I'm actually not too worried about the elections either, because it looks like both Obama and Romney are big fans of nuclear power. All of their friends are the people that own us, and their friends all own the news media too, so since we give them lots of money, they don't talk bad about us. Now that Green Party, those people are just plain scary. They could possibly shut us down, but no one really listens to them. Most people are too busy watching TV, I think, and I should know. I make all that electricity for them.
The really funny thing is, electricity isn't even the reason I was made. I was made to be a bomb-making factory. I kick out plutonium like a person craps after a big meal at a dirty taco stand. Then people from the government come along, scoop up the plutonium, and take it to their labs all over the country. Too bad our soldiers get sick from it too. I guess my owners must not care about them either.
Even if people really got mad at us, the NRC, who is like the babysitter that lets you get away with stuff your parents won't, will relicense me endlessly so I can stay here forever. So I'm really not too worried about things. I would really hate to lose this view.
Maybe they will paint some fish on me too, because all the ones around here seem to be dead.
Christina, this was all your original work, and I want to get this in real quick. Where can they go read the article you wrote as well? Christina, we got you. All right, guys. I'll put the original article up on wideawakenews.com. We'll get it posted up there. I'll also right after we come down, drop this in the chat. Follow wideawakenews.com in the chat room. But Christina, thank you very much for coming on the RadChick. for coming on and filling in with us. Gary Hendershot, thank you very much for joining us as well. We will be back tomorrow night. We have a great program lined up for you. Storm Clouds Gathering is our guest, hour number 1, Aaron Hawken, and as well as Michael Snyder, hour number 2. Hope to see you there. Enjoy Jeff Rentz. He's coming up next. Have a good night. Peace.
He would hold with pride, a little red cover with a broken spine on the back. He hand wrote a quote inside, when the rich wage war.